Welcome back guys to another video. So today I thought we'd talk about the Newcastle situation. So Newcastle, they got as we all know, they got taken over last week, brought out basically by the royal family of Saudi Arabia for 300 million. Now they're not only the richest football team in the world, I believe they're now the richest sports team in the world, with their owners having a wealth of, I think it's 320 billion, and that's the money they've actually declared. They're probably worth even more than that, to be fair. Ridiculous money they have. Now a lot of people think because of this, Newcastle are going to be the next Chelsea, the next Man City. I don't think they will. Personally, it's my thing. I don't think Newcastle. Let's put it this way, guys. Sorry. Let's put it this way. Newcastle. It's not the same as the takeover of Chelsea and Man City. And I'll say it like this: like Chelsea, when they took over, I believe they were second in the league when Roman Abramovich took them over. And I think, if I remember rightly, or second or third, something like that. I think, if I remember rightly, they had a game with Liverpool in the final game of the season. And if Chelsea won that match in the Champions League, Roman Abramovich would take them over, would buy them. It was all in that game. And Chelsea obviously beat us 2-1, I think it was. And they got in the Champions League. We didn't. I think back then it was the top three, not the top four. I think Chelsea finished second that season, if I remember rightly. So yeah, they got Champions League football because of it, and because of that, Roman bought them out. So that's completely different to the Newcastle situation. Chelsea had a very good team as well then. I mean, they were competing at the top of the table with trophies and other things, and managed under Claudio Ranieri, I believe. And yeah, and I believe before Ranieri, it was Ranieri who actually put in the buys of Robin and Peter Cech and players like that, but just never got to use them. He got sacked, and Jose Mourinho took over, and the rest is history for Chelsea there. With Man City, they were obviously relegated to League One back in the day, and working class team, got in a lot of trouble, got into debts, and went down into League One. Got themselves back up. Kevin Keegan was their manager in the Premier League, I believe, for a season or two. They did alright. They played like Fowler and McManaman, their team, Michael Tennant. Good players. There's some decent players. And again, that Man City team at the time, when they got taken over in 2009, were in a better place than Newcastle are right now. They had a better team than Newcastle. Let's say just like Newcastle have a championship level squad. They have probably 2 or 3 players at Premiership level. The rest is Championship level, I'm afraid. But with City, and Chelsea, they only had to overcome one team back in the day then. So with Chelsea, I think it was the end of the Arsenal era, and it was the Chelsea and Man United era basically, and they only had to get past one team. When Man City got their money and got taken over, at that time they had Chelsea and Man United, so they had 2 teams to get over and get into that top 4 and eventually win titles. Now, obviously with Chelsea, they won their first title, I believe, after 2 years of being taken over, or a year or 2 years, something like that, of being taken over, and by Roman Abramovich. And because they had decent squad at the time and were competing at the top end. With Man City, I believe, after Sheikh Mansour took over, it took 4 years to win the league. I think they won the league in 4 years. But they didn't have the competition like we do now. This is what I'm saying with Newcastle. There's a lot of competition out there for Newcastle. A lot of teams now have money. Yes, not on the Newcastle level of money, obviously. No one does. But a lot of teams have money. A lot of teams don't need to sell their players. I mean, you even look at PSG. I mean, yeah, PSG are run by Qatar. They're owned by Qatar in a country. They're owned by a country like Newcastle or Saudi Arabia. And Kylian Mbappe is going to go for free in the summer. PSG turned down 200 million euros from Real Madrid this summer for Kylian Mbappe because they're that rich. They don't need the money. So this goes back to what I'm saying with Newcastle. Newcastle are going to compete with a lot of clubs around, not just in England, around Europe for all players. Now, when you're as rich as Newcastle, everyone's just going to say, well, they can afford to buy whoever they want. But the problem is with Newcastle, say Newcastle, PSG, Man United, Man City and Chelsea are going for the same players. At this moment in time, they're not going to go to Newcastle. The only way Newcastle are going to get players in and compete at the very top is if they break all kinds of wage barriers. And for Newcastle compete, they're going to have to pay wages that are, they're going to have to break wage records, have to go buy their way out. So we might see the first £7 million a week football player at Newcastle. In my opinion, that might happen because I think that's the only way Newcastle are going to be able to compete. So, say in January they might get some quality players in January for 6-month deals. Because it could still go down. It's not at the end of the thing that Newcastle can go down and struggle with relegation all season. So the top players are not going to come to Newcastle at the moment. But they get quality players in, but paying ridiculous wages for 6 months because they can afford it and buy their way out of trouble. And then next summer, obviously in the summer, they go buy good players. They're not going to buy high quality players, they go buy good players that can't play for the top teams at the moment and sitting on top teams' benches. So they can buy them sort of players that'll give them a decent squad to compare with your Aston Villas, your Leicesters, your Evertons. So they're fighting for your Arsenals, your Tottenhams. So they're going to get a squad like that probably by next summer. Probably get enough in January, and in the summer they'll go for it. And they'll get a team equal maybe to your Leicesters, as I say, your Villas, your Evertons, your Arsenals, your Tottenhams. And that'll get them in that top 10 position. There'll be a top 10 club. And it's going to take them, to get in that top 4, to break that top 4, it's going to take them at least 5 years, I would say. Now, people might call me crazy, and people might be watching this and go, what you on about, Jamie? You know, they're owned as well 20 billion, and go and buy anyone on this face of this planet they want. But as I said, it's a different time now. A lot of players, a lot of teams have money and don't need to sell players anymore. This is not back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, when you can go to Brighton and offer someone like 15 million for their best player and they take it because they need money. Don't happen no more. I mean, look at Ben White, left Brighton for 50 million. That was the money it took Brighton to sell Ben White. 50 million. And this is the world we're playing in at the moment. Teams don't need to sell players. Unless you're Liverpool, we need to buy players. But teams at the end of the day, they just don't need to sell players. So it's going to be harder for Newcastle to do what they want to do than it is when Chelsea and Man City got taken over. As I say, Chelsea really only had Man United to overcome to get where they wanted to get, and they already had a good team at that time as well. Man City, it took them 4 years, but they had two teams, Chelsea and Man United. This, Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham and all them teams, they weren't what we are, especially Liverpool, what we are now. We were going through managers like Brendan Rodgers and Roy Hodgson and trying to find our way again. And so Newcastle have got to overtake Arsenal and Spurs might not be the teams they once were, especially Arsenal, but they're going to get back there eventually. So Newcastle have got to overtake your Tottenhams, your Arsenals. Leicester, although they've started this season terribly, they've got a good squad there. And Everton have got money. Don't forget the money Everton have spent in the last 3 years. I think only Man United and Man City have spent more than Everton in the last few years. So Everton have got money, they can spend, they can go. And then you've got your top four is your top four at this moment in time. Two Manchester clubs, Liverpool and Chelsea. To break that, it's going to take some time, and I think Newcastle fans need to be a bit realistic and think, you see on social media, right, next summer we're going to go for Mbappe and Neymar. You're not. Mbappe's going to Real Madrid, it's happening. You might get Mbappe one day, maybe in 5-6 years time you probably get Mbappe. Neymar, to get Neymar from PSG, you're looking at probably PSG, they turned down 200 million for Mbappe with 1 year left in his contract. You're looking at, Neymar should sign a new contract. What are you going to look for? PSG ain't going to sell him for less than 200 million. And if you do buy him for over 200 million, Neymar's going to look what you've got. He's going to want $1 million a week wages, simple as that. That's what the Newcastle going to have to do. So the landscape in the world is completely and utterly different now. So I just don't see Newcastle having the same immediate success as Man City and Chelsea. I really don't. And again, you might think I'm stupid or an idiot or, talking out the backside, but look at the way the world is now. Prior, the figure Brighton sold their defender for, and he's probably not their most outstanding centre-half, he's probably Dunk. They sold him for 50 million. It took 50 million for them to accept to let him go to Arsenal. Look at Maguire, went to Man United for 80 million. We're not on about top class players here, guys. We're not on about worldies, elite players. Harry Maguire, Leicester didn't need to sell Harry Maguire. They didn't need the money. They just didn't need the money. They're wealthy. They've got money. They don't need to sell. But it took 80 million. Ridiculous money. Even Leicester went, well, 80 million for Harry Maguire. We're laughing. And they took it. That's what I'm talking about, guys, here. That's what I'm talking about. Newcastle are going to have to. They're just going to pay their way. They have to pay their way to get to where they want to get. So you talk about. So let's look at the players Newcastle could possibly get in January. Could they go for a Lingard in January from Man United? I think they could. I really think they could. I think they could get Lingard in January. Give Man United 20 million for Lingard. Give him 100 odd K a week. I think they could do that. I think that'd be a good sign for them. I think they could get Martial from Man United as well. They could probably get Coutinho. See, with Coutinho, because of his injury record, they can give Coutinho a 6-month loan in January and just pay all his wages. Barcelona take that. Barcelona won't want to do a split wage deal on their loan. So Newcastle will probably give them a nice loan transfer, loan deal, and pay all his wages for 6 months. That's what Newcastle probably going to do in January. But when you look at Newcastle, as I say, their squad is terrible. They've got a championship level squad, I know, I think my Newcastle fans probably won't aware of that, but they have got a championship level squad, and apart from a couple of players, maybe the goalkeeper, St Max, and the striker's name, can't remember quite at the moment. Can't remember his name, but that's all they got. Callum Wilson, yeah, Callum Wilson, St Max, and the goalkeeper. They're the three. Maybe Lascelles at centre back. But with the money they got now, they could buy a proper better centre back than themselves. So you're looking at 3 or 4. That's it. The whole squad. Everyone else is gone. You know, by next summer. So January, I expect them to get 3 or 4 players in January. I expect them to be really busy in January. You get 3 or 4 players in, maybe 1 permanent transfer and 3 short loan deals just to get them through this season. Because what Newcastle got to look at, they haven't won a game in 7 matches. They are in trouble. They've got a terrible squad, and they need to get the right manager in. Poor Steve Bruce. I mean, Steve Bruce he's managed 999 games. If I was Newcastle, I would just let him have his 1000th game and then let him go, because what's one game going to matter? What is one game going to matter? Because they're going to get rid of him in a way, and then in January, as I say, they'll probably buy 3, 4, 5 players in January to help them out so they don't get relegated, just to finish off this season. So what's one game? Just give the man his 1000th game. You know, show a bit of class, give him his 1000th game, and then let him go and give him a nice retirement package. Because 990, I don't think Steve Bruce is going to manage another team, especially in the Premier League. And when you want to go down in the other leagues now, I don't think he will. So that might be the end of his managerial career. And then he's managed his hometown club, it's his club. So where do you go after that? Probably the end of him. So give him his 1000th game. Be fair, Newcastle. You know, what's one game going to hurt at the end of the day? But as I say, the squad. So I've seen Newcastle. I mean, they go down a high and they've been taken over. They got rid of the chairman, the owner. You know, I think they've got Tottenham weekend. So I expect at St James's Park all the legends will be there. But Kevin Keegan will be there. Kevin Keegan didn't want to come watch games while Mike Ashley was in charge. And so I expect all that to happen. And the good Phil Torrens will be back, and they'll probably be Tottenham, because poor Tottenham. But yeah, mate, Newcastle are just going to want to finish this season. They just want to get it done and start fresh in the summer. So let me know, guys, what players you think Newcastle will get in January. I think they'll get about 4, but let me know in the comments what you think. Personally, I can see Coutinho at Newcastle do nothing. He's on too many wages at Barcelona. Barcelona want to get shot. Give him a quick 6 month loan deal with a view to a buy. If he stays fit, you pay all his wages. It's a good deal all round. Imagine Coutinho and St Max in the same 11. Yeah, they need defenders bad. They need defenders and a goal scorer, don't they? So I can see him getting a centre half. Maybe Duncan Bryan's a good defender. He do a good job at Newcastle for the time being. And then they need a striker. They need a goal scorer. Now, would they go for Martinez at Inter Milan? Inter Milan need money bad. I mean, the Italian football is tragedy at the moment. The Inter Milan need money, and I mean, if Newcastle turn up in January, 60 million for Martinez. Martinez, he's gone, hasn't he? So they need a striker, need a centre half, need a bit Coutinho with St Max, a bit of flair in the midfield. I mean, I can see them doing that, guys. But let me know what you think in the comments. Please let me know, guys. So that's all I wanted to say today on the Newcastle subject, guys. I know a lot of people are worried that we'll go for it night. Newcastle will take us out of the top 4, because obviously now if you look at the money players in the game, you've got Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle. I mean, financially we can't compete with any of them, obviously, but it's not always about money. I mean, look at the list that came out for the top 10 owners in the league. I think it was the top 10 richest owners in the league. We weren't even in the top 10, and somehow we've won a Champions League, a league, World Club Championship, a Super League. Obviously, that's down to Jurgen Klopp and his brilliant managing, but it's also down. I know people might hate it because they're so down on the owners, but the owners have responsibility there. They have done, well in their job in some parts, not all parts, obviously. The analytics side of the game is superb at Liverpool. The scouting is superb. All that, and we've got a good academy, you've set up, good training complex. So it's not always about money, guys. You've got to get the structure of the club correct, and that's what Newcastle will be looking at for the next few years. And just go and buy the superstars and think they go win everything next year and next 2 years. That ain't going to happen. You need to put a structure in place. They'll probably update their training facilities. They'll probably get their academy in order, because eventually, like Man City, they try to not spend so much. They have a budget. I believe it or not, Man City can buy any. Let me just change this a minute. Man City could buy any footballer they wanted. Man City could have your Messis, your Ronaldos, your Lewandowskis, your Messi, all these players, your Neymar. They could have them all in their team if they wanted to, and pay their wages, but they don't, because they stick to budgets. They have a budget themselves. Yes, I know they spent 100 million on Grealish this season, but that's all they spent this summer. One player. I think last season they hardly spent either. They do have a budget at Man City, and they sort of keep to it. And yes, they don't really, they can spend 50 million they could buy 50 million pound players in one go, where no one else can do that, but they don't buy the world class. Like, if you look at, like, everyone talks about no one goes to watch Man City because no one supports them and all that. Man City haven't got a standout footballer that the world takes notice of, like a celebrity footballer sort of thing, like Ronaldo, like a Messi, like a Neymar, like an Mbappe. They're sort of world famous footballers. And Man City ain't got one of them. Which you think, all the money they got, and they're a bit strange, but that's the way Man City work. And I think with Newcastle will be the same. I think they will have a budget. Remember, they're owned by Saudi Arabia Royal Family, basically owned by Saudi Arabia, and they got unlimited funds, but they had a consortium to buy Newcastle. They didn't just do it straight out of their pocket. They had a consortium to buy Newcastle for only 300 million. So there is obviously going to be a budget there, and I don't think they're going to blow hundreds of millions as like people think they're going to do. I think there's going to be a strict budget there, and they'll want everything. They want a structure to the team. They won't want to keep spending hundreds of millions every single year. Eventually, they'll want everything to be self-sustained in the club, and the club just looks after itself and ticks over and ticks over and ticks over, without them always have to put their hand in their money. A bit like the way Man United does. Man United spent like 400 odd million in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reign as manager there, and the owners have not put any money into them transfers. It's just all from revenue and commercial revenue, and being Man United, they got that money, and that's what Newcastle, Man City and Liverpool and all that are trying to do. And Newcastle that's what they'll do. So they'll get their training, get the training complex in, and they'll probably build a beautiful training complex like Man City and Leicester have done. Liverpool, they're probably, I could see them updating their academy, getting their academy sorted, because apart from the manager, the second biggest thing in your club should be your academy. You always should have players coming through, even to the first team. Look at Man City, all the money they got, they still got Foden, an academy player, coming through their team, through the academy into their first team. You need a quality academy, and that's what Newcastle will be looking at. So it's going to take years, it's going to take quite a while yet, so Liverpool fans, don't be worried. you know, we ain't going out of top four anytime soon. And so let me know, guys, what you think. Leave it in the comments. Please like and subscribe. I need my likes to go up. I need my subs to go up. I need this, get this channel off and moving, guys. Thanks for listening, and I will be back Thursday evening for a preview to the Watford Liverpool game. See you soon.